check if everything's working. Test 1, 2, test 1, 2. Okay, switch. Quick look on Twitch. Hey, 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 test 1, 2. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Awesome. All right, that works. All right. Sorry for the late start. Lost my bank card. Had to cancel it. Not easy if your German isn't very fluent. All right. So just going to type a quick message. Say hi if you come in. Right. So I'm just going to give it like a minute or two. If anybody is going to turn up on a Saturday night after the lockdown and the pandemic's over and people are just dying to go out again, and I'm sat in working on this stuff. All right. Okay. I'm just going to get stuff a little bit ready. And maybe give any people time to come in if they want to. You know what? I'll just pop a message on Twitter. I'll just start the stream. All right.
You see.
Okay. All right. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get anybody in. We'll see. Okay, so I'm just going to assume that I've got a full room, even though I don't, as usual, for the people that might be watching this on YouTube later. So, in the last video or two, I was working on the AI aspect of there is a level with loot locations. The loot locations are defined here. Green is common, yellow is uncommon, red is rare, just to keep it simple. And the idea was to give the squad a personality, and based upon that personality, they would generate a different route across the map. For the people that haven't watched it before, the map is going to be really big, like really, really big about this. So what you're looking at over there is a very small part of that. But for gameplay and debugging and coding and programming, it's all been put into this quite small area here. Just to get it working, basically. Because to test it, you have to let it run from one location to the other, and that can take a little while. So in the meantime, I've been hard at work the last day or two. Didn't stream so much. I've realized it's sometimes quite difficult for me to really get into a flow with programming while talking. So maybe I'm just going to do a lot less talking now when I stream, unless people ask me things, and I might need a minute or two to notice that. So the good news is that works, the loot route generation that was kind of shown in the last stream. It works pretty good. And the changes that I made was the loot locations were basically 3D spheres last time. And now I've turned them into boxes. Why? Boxes are just much easier to fit into most levels because we have quite a lot of square shapes, and they're just much more flexible than round ones. Now, I rebuilt this loot location system more than a few times. I'm just going to give you the basic rundown on it. So let me just disable all of these for now. So we've just got this one here that we're looking at. So here I've got this thing called the Loot Locations Manager. And at the start of the game, that finds all of the objects with the tag location. If we don't look at a location, you know, it will have a location type of like common loot, uncommon, or rare. Those then get split into 3 lists, which are then put onto the loot locations manager, as you can see here. So locations list is all of the locations, and then these are the common zones, uncommon, and the rare ones. Okay, so far so good. And then what we have here is we just have a text mesh for debugging purposes, so we can see I've got null, which means it's not being included in the squad route. And then what we've got is this box collider right here. And it's not actually a collider, it is, but it's a trigger, which means it won't interfere with raycasting or things like that. I've also got the layer ignore raycast, because otherwise when I'm going over here with a mouse and I want to click on the ground, it's kind of impossible because the raycast will hit this. So these locations that you're looking at here, they're just purely trigger zones. So the idea that I came up with was, we have a trigger zone, the AI enters the trigger zone, and the location already knows all of the loot that it's got. If that's loot containers, if that's loose items lying on the ground, that will all be bundled into this one loot location, and the AI can query that, basically. I rebuilt this thing like 3 times now, and today was a bit of a hassle at the end because I broke all of the player-based pick things up UI code, but it's actually totally worth it because it's all much simpler now. I did it in a very complicated way, I'd say, but as I've discovered with game development, you try and get something to work that you've not done before, and then once you get it working, it's like, okay, this is the way it should be. So it's kind of like getting it to work, go back and forth a few times, and now it's all good. So just to clarify here, this is a loot location right here. There's a loose gun here right now. I'm just going to disable that because that doesn't matter. There's the text mesh holder for this, and these are the loot boxes, and there's 3 of them. And the loot box is just basically a chest, a container, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. And I was doing it at first with lists and everything, because I'm just used to using a lot of lists to keep track of things. And the actual simplest solution to this was just to have an object called the inventory holder. It could be called anything, and it has the script on it, inventory, and items to spawn. What happens is when we press play in Awake, these items are instantiated and they're parented to the object, basically. That's it. Really nice and simple. And then I just changed the parent, which was so much easier than using lists. But it required a rewrite. So that all works now. So the basic idea is this. If I'm going to press play now, just to run you through it. Here we see the inventory holder in this loot box. It's, whoops, we're on maximized mode. Let's change that and put it onto focused. Oh, there we go. Let's try that again. So, you know, here's 2 things called 2. Let's get something else, actually. Let's get this one. And so this spawns a rifle item, first aid item, energy item, all just really generic things. They're just placeholders for now. So press play, and as you can see, the inventory holder doesn't have any children here on the left side of the screen. Game starts, let's just pause it. And now we have 3 items that have been instantiated there, basically. Way easier than a list. Just take advantage of what Unity's good at, basically. So the whole idea is that the player can go over there and do everything. And I'm just going to show that now, and then I'll show the AI in action. So the reason I'll do it with the player first is because the AI, I've disabled the UI, because you don't need to see that when the AI is running. So actually, let's just do the squad with 1 soldier, just to keep it nice and simple. Did anybody come in yet? We have 1. Hey, Alto, I don't know if you're a bot or if you're a person, but if you're a person, nice to see you, and thanks for joining. All right, so let's make this a little bit bigger. Whoops. And let's just turn off gizmos. So, you know, here's the basic UI. So if I go over here now to the box, he'll open it. And once it's opened, there's 2 items in there, and I can transfer them over. While I'm still in this mode, I can go over here. And let's open this box, and I can get these things. So this functionality that you're now seeing with me controlling this as the player, I needed to build that for the AI, basically. So here we go. So far, so good. That works. That's wonderful. That's great. I can run over here. I think there was another chest somewhere. Maybe I disabled it. I disabled the loot location, so it's just all gone anyway. That's the basic functionality. So AI goes to loot location and loots everything. Now, right now, the AI loots everything too fast because it just grabs everything at once. A little bit unfair compared to a player, but let's just see it in action. So I'm going to go to Squad Manager, And I'm going to press AI and hope this isn't all broken now magically before the stream. So there's only one location here. So let's make it a little bit more interesting. Let's look for, I don't even know. I think it was this one. Yeah. I'll know when I see it. There we go. This one. Just doing it off memory. So these 3 loot locations here, they have, like this one has a loot container, and this one has one. And just to show you like how this works now, so this is the loot location, right? So if I want to add another chest there, it's just got to be a child of it. So I've got this loot box there. I'm going to grab it and I'll move it over here, basically. So these 2 containers are there. Let's go to the squad manager, AI, great. Let's zoom out a little bit. I want to fit stuff on the screen here. So there's no UI for the AI. I don't want that. Like when there's 4 or 5 of them running later on, it's going to be a hassle to figure out which one's which. So we'll just use the Unity view here to debug. So we go to soldier 1 here, and here's its inventory holder. And it's also just sharing the same class as a chest or a container because it's an inventory. It doesn't matter on what objects that it's on as long as it can hold objects. So let's watch it in action. So I'll make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. And this should just about cover it. So let's unpause it and zoom in. So I'm not controlling it now. This is the AI. So it's going there. And if we watch the inventory holder on the left, it just picks up 2 energy. This is awesome. Goes over there, picks up more items, goes over there, picks up more items. And once it's finished clearing out the zone, it's now going to go over here to loot location 1, which has 1 chest on it. I was so happy when this started working today. All right. So it could get stuck here. I discovered a little thing today with certain things. Yeah, there you go. You see the little location there. It's got a timeout that if it gets stuck for too long, it can break out. It needs to be fixed, but I'm not focusing on it right now. So, okay, so far so good. So it's heading over here. And like I said, there's like 2 chests, right? Like 2 containers. Let's see it do its job. Take the most optimal path to the chest, obviously. All right, there we go. Got more items. Got more items. And here's the cool part now that I programmed in, everybody. There's an extraction zone. So once the AI has managed to loot all of its loot locations, it's then going to leg it. Right now, it should use the move to cover system to get there. But I've just left that off for now because that is something to solve later. I can reuse a lot of the code with the move from loot location to loot location right now. So he should get over there and then say extracted and survived once he gets to the middle of this thing. There we go. Great. Awesome. So, of course, you'd think we're done. Oh, hell no. This is just like the first stage of getting this stuff working. So it's a squad strategy game, right? So as always, one of the main problems that I hit when I'm working on this game with the AI is that it all works really good with one of them. And then the moment, you know, I turn on a squad, sometimes all hell breaks loose and things just don't go as expected. So far, all of the AI units act autonomously. They do their own thing. They have no information about any of the other squad members. And I've tried to keep that like this for as long as possible. And I do believe that I can solve this loop problem right now that you're probably going to see in a minute that I can already imagine. I think it happened like one time today. I think we can solve that without the soldiers being aware of each other. The only thing I can think of that the soldiers would kind of have to be aware of each other is if they spread out too far from each other, which actually might not be a bad thing because that's also just a viable strategy instead of everybody being bunched up. But anyway, let's see what happens if I put on, say, 3 of these guys. So we've only got 3 loot locations to go to. So all the AI squad members are randomized to start at a different time from each other. Now, here we go. Look at that. This is great. They're all fighting for the same loot box, right? I don't even know which one's getting it, basically. It's hard to see. Like, is one of them ending up with all of it, or are they managing to share it? I think like one soldier must have all of it. Yeah, okay, I'm pretty sure. So this obviously isn't desired behavior. The nav agents are pushing each other aside. Now, the first thing I was thinking of was like, I can say that the first agent that's going to be emptying the loot container gets this, like there's a value that you can put on a nav agent to like make it unmovable to other nav agents. But it just feels like a really hacky solution. So the thing I've been thinking about while I was going for a walk today was maybe I can make it that the loot location stores which soldier, or the containers, sorry, are going to store which soldier is looting it, basically. Now, if I'm correct, I already implemented a bit of pseudocode or code for this actually in there, because I was already thinking this is going to be a problem later on. So let's take a look. So basically what I want to do right now is say to a soldier, hey, go through all the loot containers. That's what it does right now. And if one of these loot containers is reserved by another soldier, that another soldier will be searching for it, you're not allowed to search for this one. Go for the next one. That's it. Let's see if we can make that work, basically. So I'm going to go to Squad Manager. That's not the one I'm interested in. So I'm going to use a state-based script right now. Let's pause the game. And let's go to this. And so the last 2 or 3 streams I was using this one, move to loot location, and that would make them go from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3, like their plotted route. And the code that I've now got is, let's just take a quick peek. So if you look at move to loot location, basically I've got this just down here. I'm just using on trigger enter. That is it. So I say on trigger enter. It's very inefficient right now because it just checks everything, but that's okay. There's not that much on the way anyway. We say get the collider, and if the collider has in the parent, because it's in the parent and hierarchy, the class location, then we know we're in a location loot zone, basically. Should be called loot location. I am not renaming all this now. And then what we do is we do soldier.change state AI type to get loot. That's it. We just instantly change out. So the moment we enter this box here, it triggers this function and we change state. So we go here to get loot. I'll try and make it a bit bigger for the stream. Same as the other state-based stuff. Really not too much code right now. It's not too bad. This can even be cleaned up more, but I'm just getting it to work. So just a quick run through. This shouldn't be an input controls blah. If the soldier current loot container is equal to null, that means we don't have a container chosen to loot. And that means we cannot be picking up an item. So picking up item is false. So then we go here. If the soldier.current loot location is not null and picking up an item is false, then we go into the logic, basically. So we go here, and if we have a current loot location, then that means there must be a loot location. And so we say location, loot location is equal to the current location. And what we do is then the location, you got to get this around in your head. This location here, this green place here, or yellow or red, this can have multiple chests, containers, rifles, loose items lying around. That's how I designed it right now. So if we look at the actual location, give me a moment, here, as you can see, we've got 2 lists. We've got the individual items that are lying there, and we've got the amount of containers. So there's 3 containers. So it says loot location containers list, loot location items list. So we have those 2 lists. All right. So we have the information linked to this loot location, this trigger / collider. Okay. So what we do is we say, if this loot location doesn't have any containers, like the list length is 0, then we need to change. You might think, well, why isn't that done outside of the list? Well, it has to be a loot location first to check if it's got containers or not. So we've got no containers, we're done. Move on, because maybe not all loot locations would actually have loot. I don't know that, so we're just making sure that that's not the case. If that's not the case, debug stuff, we have stuff to loot. So then we go here and we say, if the loot location containers list count is greater than 0, like how many items we have in the list, then we're going to do this check. All right, so what we do is we then get the total of empty containers. It's the only way I figured out to check, has the loot location been emptied? So as you saw before with the AI, it goes in and it goes to container 1, empties it, container 2, empties it, and container 3. And when a container is empty, what happens is it gets this bool set is empty. So that means the inventory is empty. If the total amount of loot containers is empty and that's the same number as the amount of loot containers, then we get out. We say this loot location is finished, let's go. Nice and easy. Okay, so if the total empty loot containers, that's this integer that we were building up here, if that's greater than or equal to the list, change state AI type to move to loot location. So just to give you a rundown, because it's a lot of talk, let's just go back here and just get one squad member just to make it clear. Maybe it makes more sense now that I've gone through it. So I'll just show you for a moment. So let's find the container. He's going, okay, so he's going to this one. Okay, cool. Let's look at this one and we look at the inventory holder. So it's not empty, right? It's empty. So watch what happens when he takes the items out. This flag here gets set to is empty. And he's going to do that when we go here as well. Let's get this one. So this one isn't empty. Okay. These are the items to spawn. They're not the items in they're in there now, but they're in there as children of the parent. So the moment those three things get taken away on the left is empty. So this is how we check, is a loot location finished? All three of them are empty, off we go. It works, fine for me. And again, it wouldn't require AI squad members to know anything about the rest. They're querying the location, which is a lot less information to keep track of. Okay, so we go here. If the loot location count is list.count is greater than 0, yeah, we go in here and we say, right, if the loot location, loot container, inventory is empty in this for loop, we just say debug log container empty, continue. But we want to keep looping through, right? So we say, oh, then if it's not empty, then what we do is we say the current loot container for this soldier, all right? And this is something that is set explicitly. It's like, this is the current loot container, and it needs to know which one it's working on. And we just get that value from the list. So we say, oh, it's chest 2. Soldier, this is your current loot container. And then I have here a destination, which is current loot target to move to. Okay, so it just becomes the same thing, basically. This is just more readable as a variable name. Okay, so if current loot target to move to is not equal to null, what we do is we move the soldier AI. Now, this was a really interesting problem that I had that really took me like half an hour to figure out. It would set a destination to the chest, and then it would just say invalid path. It was going really crazy. I could not figure out like what it was that was going on. And then I realized, because I love the way the brain works, so if I go ahead to the environment, well, as you can see here, that this is the nav mesh, right? So it's allowed to walk in the blue areas, but not here. So because I was setting the path point, like where it should go to, like right inside the middle of that chest, it couldn't get there, which makes complete sense. You know, it's like, well, yeah, you know, I can't get there. But it really took me a while to see because I wasn't looking at it like that. I was looking at it like this. And I think I even had it with, one of these chests didn't have a new bake done, so it could walk through the middle, and it was very confusing. So this is why I've added, I get the current loot target to move to position, and I just add this vector move forward. This is very bad and hacky, because if I get the container now and I put it like against a wall, it's not going to keep the rotation or the orientation into account, basically. So what I need to do is I need to kind of come up with a container has a front, and it's going to, in this position here will be the transform forward of the container. So it'll get its position and the transform forward of the container, which in Unity is like 001 or 100, relative to the objects. And that will mean as long as the object is always pointing away from a wall, the container, it will always walk to the front of it, which would be great. I'm not doing it right now, though. This was enough to get it running. So what happens then is we say, where was it? Just give me a moment. This has been a while. We are in get loot. Why did we do this again? Ah, that was it. So go to input controls, which is shared by the player and the AI, and it's becoming a little bit unwieldy, but right now it doesn't need a massive refactor. It'll do. So this is for the player. Select loot container and open when close, and this handles things like mouse input and is the UI open and things like that. And at first I was trying to get this to work with the AI, and it was just like, oh god, this is just too much work. I'll just use half duplicate code and just keep my sanity basically and worry about it later. So I did select loot container and open when close AI. And at the top here, I've got this check in the update. If soldier is AI, select loot container, open when close AI. And if it's a player, just do this. So how does this work? It's just basically, we say here, distance, current point, and destination. So that's the position of the soldier and the current loot container transform position. Of course, we do a check here if current loot container is null. And this is just running the whole time in update. And that's not a problem. It escapes early. So we go, okay, so we've got a loot container, right? And we set that here with get loot, okay? Because, you know, we picked one based upon the locations list. And now what we do is this. We say, if the distance is less than the nav agent stopping distance threshold +1, a bit of tolerance in there, and we've stopped moving, right? You shouldn't be allowed to open a chest while you're moving. And the lid opened equals false. This could bite me later on, but that's okay. This just basically says, this is the thing I've got to use later. The current loot container gets this flag set that the soldier interacting with this container is this soldier. This is what I want to use later on, hopefully with the squad, to stop them all running at one chest. And then we say opening grid equals true. On the loot container, we have a variable that says if opening grid is true, trigger this animation. And that's what you see when it stands next to it and stops, that the lid starts to open. You're not allowed to get the loot until the chest has been opened. Okay. Else, if the distance is less and we've stopped again and the lid opened is true, like we've opened it, now we can get the loot, right? So if I just say this in the simplest way, current loot container, soldier interacting with this container. I'm just setting it again, don't know why, just to be sure, I suppose. I'll figure that out later. And here we just get the transform, which is the inventory holder. And that's really simple. That can be the soldier who's got a backpack, that's an inventory holder. It's just an empty with the script's inventory on it. And if we look here, this is the inventory holder, right? And it holds this. That is it. And when we start the game, it gets the children assigned. So just so you got a reference there. And then we say the inventory child count is inventory holder.transform.child count. This was way easier than lists. It's just, we just know this is very simple low-level data, and it's very easy to follow and understand. This is quick debug, don't need it later on. Now, this took me a little while to figure out. So what I was doing was I was saying, get this item for inventory holder and set the parent to the soldier. And of course, what I did at first was I was doing a for loop and I was saying, get the child count. It doesn't work because the moment you reassign the parent of a child from one object to another, you change the child count. I just completely missed this for like 20 minutes. And then I realized what I had to do was, then I actually have to make a list. So I make a very temporary list there. I just say item list children. So I make a list and they reference, right? And then the length of this list is not going to change when I change the parent of a child object. That's the easiest way to say it. So items list.children add, and then I get the child and I add it, right? So here we go through the list, and then we just have this little function here called item to inventory. It actually just means get the item, set its parent to this transform, which is the inventory, and therefore the inventory holder. If you're not following this, don't worry about it. It's only because I was coding it for a long time that I basically got this working. Hey there, I am Hexenritter. Hey everybody, if you're not bots, nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. So that's enough blab for now. It's been a really interesting day or two to get this working with the time that I had left over. There's way less code. It's way less cleaner. Like, my God, if you'd seen it in its first version on stream, I would have just gone and done something else with my life straight away. it's actually kind of readable right now. So that's it in a nutshell. So the problem right now is, let's go back to that. We want to solve the squad all trying to hit the first chest, right? That's, I think, what we were going to do. So go all the way back after all this talking. Yeah, so here we go. Yeah, musical chairs. That ain't good. So let's do this. So I need to first of all handle this in the get loot part. So here we go. Right, this, where do I do the... I'm going to talk a bit less now, okay? Coding goes better now. All right. Okay, this part here, I'm very sure I need to not do that in loop container. I need to do it here. So, what I want to do here is say, all right, this means we pick a container, basically. Let me just paste that in now, so I've got it for now. Okay. So the check has to be here, I think. So hold it, here we pick a container, okay. So what I do is I get the loot location, and I get the component. Hold it. All right, let's do it like this. Yeah, loot location containers list. So we get that current one, we get the component loot container, and we say soldier.interact on this container is, let's just be sure, soldier.transform. This one, it's a bit more readable. All right, I want to just test that this is working because I disabled it here. If I save. So I'm going to go to one squad member for now because I just want to check this. So let's see. I think he'll pick this chest first. Let's check it. All right. Entry holder. Here we go. Soldier interacting with this container. So if this is the right chest, that should be set now. Yeah, cool. That's set. All right. Great. Now what I've got to do is, this is where we add all the items. And this is where I really don't like it with the logic pinging back and forth, but this kind of makes sense. I'm just going to have to say that the current loot container soldier interacting with this. So basically, after we grabbed all of the items out, and before we set the current loot container to null, what we have to do is say the soldier interacting with this is also null. Let's try that out. So what I want to see right now is that this container here will, here we go, just restart. So this should be assigned, and once it's emptied the contents out of the chest, that should become null again. So hold it, walks in, cool, he's going to empty it when it's opened. Awesome, that works. Okay, So now what we need to do is we need to say here, very simple, I think. If the loop location is empty, or let's get this one. It's a lot of code right now. We get this, and basically what we're saying is if the soldier interacting with this computer is not equal to null, that means somebody's interacting with it. Then we should just continue and leave it. Okay. Let's take a peek. First of all, I just want to check that one soldier works with it. So again, hold it. Yeah, he's interacting. Let's just open this up so we can just check that it's all okay. So there's his inventory holder. There's that one. Unpause. He opens the lid. He empties it. This now has no items. This does. Set to none. Okay, where's he going next? Unpause. Okay, I just broke it. That's what I thought. All right, what am I doing now? It's this line. Just check it. Okay, hold it. We pick a container. We assign a interacting soldier to the container. Okay. Right, let me just check it's this part here that's breaking it for a minute. What am I missing? There we go. Ah, hey, I did not want that. Okay. Yeah, sure. Just to get it back, just want to be sure it's working. Hey, Hexarita. Yeah, well-commented code is a blessed thing. That's for sure. But good variable names are half the battle. All right, let's see. Oh, I forgot. I want to just check. Is this one here? Should have, yeah. Okay. Great. Cool. Okay. All right, so let's think about this for a minute. If the loop container inventory is empty, or really? I think I've just got to check. It's not this soldier. Okay, this is not the right approach. What am I doing wrong? Okay, you know what? This is getting very unreadable right now. Let's clean up for a minute. I know I'm struggling with that. So let's we need a loop container, current loop container equals. Okay. Now we should just be able to go here now and say, just it's too much to read. Let's just check this is working like it was. Yeah, good variable names is not equal to bad. Very true, Hexarita. You funny guy, you. Old friend of mine. What's that? I haven't worked in Unity. Does that drop down list allow for tab autocomplete? I'm not sure what you mean. Is it like if I... Well, yeah, basically I have autocomplete inside of Visual Studio. That's not a problem. If I go here now and say current loop container, and I can press up or down with the arrow keys. And if I press tab or enter, then it will do the autocomplete, if that answers your question. I hope it does. If not, you'll have to clarify. All right, let's just check that this is working again. Just a little cleanup with the code. It was getting a bit too dense to read. Let's just check it's gonna do what it did before. If it runs to the second chest and gets out, I'm sure it'll be fine. Cool. Okay, so I mean, I thought it would just work what I was doing, but obviously computer says no right now. So there we assign the loop container. Say it's empty, we continue. That's great, that works. Let's just do an else if statement. It shouldn't make a damn difference, but it just makes it a little bit more readable. So we're going to go here. I'm going to say if current loop container dot soldier interacting with this. Whoops. Okay. If current loop container dot soldier interacting with this container, is that it? I mean, that should be it. Though there could just be something really simple that I'm missing. Ah, great. I'm glad that answered your question, Hexarita. All right. Okay, so something's messing up here. Let's check it out. So we've got this chest I can't click on. There. So the soldier interaction with this container becomes none. All right, I need to look at this frame for a minute to see what's happening. Let's give it a moment. All right, so there we have just advancing it frame by frame, if you've not seen that before. I just want to check this out for a minute. Let me just minimize all these. So hold it. We've got this one. It has a soldier interacting with it. This one also has a soldier interacting with it. I think that's the problem. And wait. So all of them are interacting with it. And that is why I had to do it in the other script, because it was distance based. Right, so this is okay. This isn't okay. I do believe I then have to do it here like I did. All right, so basically what this is saying is if the soldier is standing, so if the soldier picked this as its current loop container and it's standing next to it and it stopped moving, which could be a problem with the stop moving part, but we'll see. Maybe what I can do here is, I'll figure that out in a minute. Let's just see if I've fixed the problem. There should only be one chest being selected. No worries, Hexarita. Thanks for popping in. A little bit of participation is always more than welcome and appreciated. So thanks for coming in. It's good. I swear, like one or two of the people in this chat, it's they're like the girl or lady pictures that are generated by this person is not real.com. Hey bots, how you doing? I think you're bots. I don't know. No, Hexarita, that's not it. So what was happening was before I was setting the state. So the container has a state, right? Or state, basically, it has like a soldier assigned to it. Like, hey, I am a container, and I now know that this soldier wants to search me. That's the basic idea. And what I was just doing was I was just setting it to all of them at the same time. And my old logic was only set that flag to true if you're next to it and you stop moving and the lid is open. And that was that line of code where I was like, oh, I don't think I need to do it here, and I moved it over there. So if I'm correct, got a feeling I am. So before, when I pressed play and it walked into the trigger zone, it set all 3 of the containers to a soldier is interacting with them. Now it should only be 1. So if we look here, none of them, yeah, soldier interacting is none, none, none. And this one here, when he stands next to it, if I'm correct, that should then be set to it. Wait a moment. There. Okay. Soldier interacting with this container is him. And now it shouldn't be set here. That's great. So let's check it out. So this shouldn't have an active soldier on it now. Null. Great. We go here. And this should have a soldier interacting once he stands next to it, which could be the problem. There we go. Okay, so this is good. Let's see what happens now if I turn 3 of them on, because I think the standing next to it is the problem. That I'm saying, hey, it's kind of weird because I need some kind of check to say a soldier can only be assigned to 1 container, and the idea that I came up with originally was just like if you stood next to it, right? So maybe we can change that. We're getting into state-based logic here, which is not going to be simple. This is not an easy problem to solve. I don't even know if I'm going to solve it tonight. Let's take a look here at what's going to happen. Put it into bullet time mode. I think it's still going to be, yeah, it's still the same problem. So, all right, so what I need to do is I need to say somehow my initial gut reaction could be right. I mean, so this logic is actually good. It's the way that I'm setting it. Like they're only going to say yeah, so the thing is they all run next to it. Oh, this is a pain. This is really a pain. This is quite a conundrum. Makes total sense. Yeah, so the thing is, Hexarita, you know, this flag of a soldier being assigned to search it, that is being set when they're 1 meter away from it and they've stopped moving. So that's too late because all 3 of them are running there. So the only thing I can think of is, again, is it like it's not equal to this? I'm not sure if this works with referencing. So basically, I think what I'm trying to say there is if this transform, like who I am, this one, soldier.transform, is not the same as the soldier interacting with the container, continue. I really hope it's this simple now. No, it's not trigger. It's literally just state logic. Hexarita. Let's see if this works. That totally didn't work. I do not know why that is not working. So let's throw in a quick debug there. Soldier interacts with this. Really? Okay, let's try something really slow and horrendous. Because they should all have, like, this is a horrible thing to do, like to check a string, the name, but I can fix that later. Don't want to optimize right now, just want to get it working. So if I press play, it should be Soldier 1, Soldier 2, Soldier 3 from the squad with the name prefix if I'm correct. Yeah, okay. So, hold it, wait. Do I have the name of the soldier here? No, I didn't do that, obviously. So this is not going to work because all these names are the same. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Barking up the wrong tree. Yeah, the problem is this distance thing here. I mean, what I'm saying here is, I think I've just got to do this in reverse. I think I've just got to say, if distance to current point and destination. A lot of code. Let's just do it and make it work first and clean it up later. So what I want to say here is if the distance is greater than, that means we're further away than 1 meter from the box, and our velocity magnitude, which is just the total speed of the unit, is greater than 0, and the lid has not been opened, then we're going to do this. And we're going to just disable this. Whoops. We only set it once. Fingers crossed. There we go. Okay. They still checked around a little bit, but... Okay, I have no idea why they're running back now. All right. But this is... this is definitely a step in the right direction. Oh, thank you, Hexarita. Okay, this is where they become a little bit daft, and I've got like I've got a piece of coveting purpose on there to try and figure out that bug later that I found. So here there's going to be 2 chests. I think I already know what it is. Basically, they also need to check. So actually, this lid opened false is... I don't think that's a good idea. I think it should just be... And if the current loop container dot is... wait a minute. Get... I think we're going to say, and if it's empty, so hold it, if it's not empty, then we assign it as the soldier interacting. Otherwise, we don't. Let's see. Well, that totally messed it up. Okay. Um, yeah, so there must be some hidden logic that I've totally forgotten about with that. Let's just clean this up a little bit. I don't even, this is old code, so I don't even know why I was like setting it up this way. Oh, lid opened equals false, not lid is opening. Okay. All right. Let me take another look at it. Let me just make it a little bit more. Unity will recompile and let me do things. That would be great. Thank you. All right. Let's go here, here, and here. Let's just get another one. Let's make it really complicated for these guys. I'm just really curious. Stress test it for a minute. See what they're going to do. Okay, cool. So they all pick a different chest. Okay, it's not too bad, actually. You know, they just go next to it for a minute and check it out. Okay, it's this guy here. He's running back, and I don't get why. But it doesn't matter. It's going in the better direction right now. Okay, he's also stuck. So, I swear, like with these kind of things here, I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and do a lot of boring prefab work and just these cover pieces, they're just a bit too thin, and because of that, they kind of here we go. Wait, yeah, they just manage to. That is of course why they've not removed each other. They're just like a pixel away. There's an actual gap between them. Bugger. So basically, sorry, the code is if two of these colliders, these cover colliders, hit each other, or a cover collider intersects with another collider, remove it because it shouldn't be able to go there. So let me just check this out if it's working. So let's get this. And let's move it there. Okay. And now let's rebake. Just to check I'm not losing my sanity and my code stopped working. So basically these two should now disappear on the start for a moment. Poof. And that one didn't, obviously, because it does fit. All right, that's a problem to solve another day. But I get that. All right. And that explains why I added these new colliders, and now I see that's why I've got also more unreachable places. Anyway, getting sidetracked there, as happens a lot. So I'm just going to enable a few more locations just to test this out. So the ones with null that you see, they can be included in the root. And that depends on the squad manager personality. So I've just got a mixed personality right now. So this one here might not even get picked, and not all of them have loot, which is a good test. Like, will they get stuck there, or will the code run? Let's take a look. Basically, if a loot location has no loot, then they should just ignore it. So hold it. What did I do here? That's interesting. Okay. That's a kind of happy accident, of course. So this was not assigned as part of the loot route, and they looted it anyway, which makes perfect sense because the code explicitly just says, if you go in here, loot it. I'm going to leave that for now because it would make sense. You know, they come into a loot zone, even though it's not on their route, and then they loot it. You know, because if I would actually check, like, hey, is the loot location you're entering part of this route? It would be really weird, actually. Happy accident, because they just run right through this right now. Yes, Hexarita, accidental elegance. So let's see what these guys are going to do right now. It's like one. Okay, they're running back. This is interesting. I've really got to figure out why that is. So let's just follow him for a minute, because he's smart. So loot location 1 has no loot. So he shouldn't stop there. He should just run right past it and then run on to 2. As we see there. He should loot container 1, loot container 2. And the thing is, I don't want these guys knowing they got emptied. They should just hit, yeah, so look, this is great. Watch this guy. He's going to hit this loot location and he's going to query it and it's going to say, hey, all the containers are empty. So then instead of running up to them, he should just turn around. Okay, this is great. It's going pretty good so far. Loot location 3 has no loot. So there we go. So far, so good. I have done nothing yet to program any kind of squad cohesion. As you can see, because there was a bit of a big boo-boo there. 2 of them are very far away now from that guy. But don't forget, in the full game that I've got envisioned, they are not running the whole time, right? They are really going slow. They're checking covers. They're checking corners. They're checking angles. Ooh, that's interesting. They've now got a bad... This guy is going to sidetrack like crazy. So this guy here in the top left corner, he's going to run all the way there to throw a collider there. And then he's gonna, okay, that's really interesting. This is where squad cohesion, like one person is very far away from the rest of the squad. What I could then do is say to the rest of the squad, go into cover and wait until the distance between you and the straggler is solved. I think there's like about a good 6 ways to approach it, and I'm not sure what the best one is. So hold it. So of course this makes sense. The more multiple paths they can take over the map, and the more like this is there on purpose. This L part is there to trap AI. It's there to show the problems with the code and the structure. Basically, it's like this area here. You know, they're good to have because the AI should later on just be able to handle this. So you know, this guy is like late to the party. Yeah, Hexarita. Hunker down and straggler, double time to catch it up. I mean, that's what I would do if I was playing an FPS game with a squad. I'd be like, guys, I'm behind. Can you just wait up, please? You know, and everybody just digs in and then covers, you know, an angle. So, all right. This is pretty close. It's not perfect, but it's definitely getting there. It's been an hour now with the stream, kind of like the time that I've got the mental energy to code, think, and talk at the same time. So I'm probably going to solve this problem before the next stream. So 1 or 2 things, like takeaways that I've got, if anybody's interested in at the end is, you know, when you are controlling, say, 3 guys, and let's just do this now on maximized, you have a very unfair, you're at a big disadvantage compared to the AI, because it's like, I press 1, go here, 2, go there, 3, go there, but the AI does that all at the same time. And you as the player, you have to do all these manual interactions to, you know, put the stuff over, basically. So if I go here now and, you know, this is, oh, hold it, bit of an AI, a bit of a glitch there. Okay, so I've broken something in the UI that is completely and utterly expected after what I did today. The point I'm trying to make is this: as the player, you have to right now control every single soldier and tell them where to go. So the one thing I was thinking of was like a loot all button or a key. You press it, and the soldiers just go and loot everything nearby. I actually think that's probably way cooler because it's a bloody tedious thing to have to be doing this, you know, and just like picking items and who's got what and stuff like that. It's not a lot of fun, and it's not really what the game would be about. I mean, don't get me wrong, getting the loot, that is a big part of the game. Hold up. And if I go here, 2, 3, okay. Okay, cool, that works. So that's one thing, because the AI, they just walk into the zone, Hexarita, right click, loot all within X radius. Yeah, you know, so the thing is, it's broken right now, like many things. But it's like, as you can see, now I've got like units selected and I can move them all, right? And it's broken right now, but I've got it that if you press 0, this is a very rough prototype that you see there, you can move them and pick their facing, but it doesn't work. So it's like I could move this over there and click, and they would all move into those 3 circles. That's the old stuff that used to work. That's not being at all important. So I was thinking if you press 0, which means you've got the entire squad selected, and you then pick a container that the squad understands, go to all of the loot containers. And the best part is I can just reuse the code that you just saw from the AI. Cool. But imagine you're down to 1 guy, or you want to micromanage, like, oh, my inventory is almost full, and I really want to like know what's in here and what can and can't go out there. You should be able to just say, oh, I've got this picked, I've got the inventory, and I manually pick what's there. But you might be in a rush and just think, I really want to get this stuff fast. Okay, so I broke some stuff today getting this working with the UI, which is to be expected. So yeah, so that's the difference. The AI, it walks in, and it does it super fast and super efficient. So another thing that I've noticed is this, which is unfair, which has to be fixed with the AI. So let's go to Squad Manager, and let's just take 1 person to show this. Right now, I go to a container, opens up. When it's opened up, then the container opens, and I get this. And 1, 2. I have to click manual on each thing there, and then press this to get rid of it. The AI right now, because it's all just rough code. Yeah, exactly, Hexarita. Like, you've got a choice between smash and grab, like just get in there and grab everything, or like curating and picking what it is that you want. Very well said. So if we go to AI now, what happens is the AI, you know, I don't have the UI working for that because that's just a pain. But basically what you see here is, let's go there, just to show you what the difference is and why this is unfair. It's going to hit a chest, and watch what happens here. Bam, it just has all of the chest content. So I've got to add like, I think I've got to add like a timer, like every 2 to 3 seconds it can grab an item or something, because it's just unrealistic. Like, say there's 7 items and then it just goes and it just grabs them all, and you as a player have to click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or even click all. It should just have some kind of timer in there to slow it down. So that's the next thing that I want to fix with the looting mechanics. Is that like a term now? And the last one that I was really thinking of has to do with aiming and fire. So I'll just give a little rundown on this in case anybody's missed on the previous streams. So let's put it on maximized. So I've got 1 guy. Okay. So as you can see right now, let's just move him over here to this open area. Makes it a little bit easier. So right now they move this fast because they're not aiming, and they have a wider field of view. If you press tab, they go into aim mode, they slow down, but they also get a narrower field of view. If they use a scope or a sniper rifle or something like that, it becomes even narrower, but they will get a bigger field of view due to the magnification of the weapon that they're using. Okay, just like a standard shooter, nothing groundbreaking, all good. So this is where it becomes interesting. If I just left click somewhere, this is what I call aim forward mode. Sounds exciting, it's not. So if I click here, I tell it to go there, and it will just keep aiming forward, basically. And I can make it aim or not aim. Not aiming, increase speed, wider field of view, less accuracy, good with shotguns and stuff like that. So if we aim and go here. So let's head to this open part. All right, so imagine I want to walk over here, but I want to walk, look backwards. Click and hold the right mouse button, and I now have something called adaptive aim. Now you might think, what does that mean? Well, actually, let's go to a part with some cover. Okay. So adaptive aim is interesting. Why? Maybe you've got a squad. You want one guy to look forward, one guy to look backwards while you're going. So I can say, hey, go over here and look backwards now. And now what's going to happen is no matter how he turns, it's adaptively going to aim. It's going to turn and keep looking backwards. I can even assign it like a new position. A bit broken right now. And as you can see, the idea is that it walks and it keeps on looking backwards. That's pretty cool, and I really like it. So you could have a squad formation where two guys are looking forwards, like left, right, walking forward, and one guy's looking backwards. And I'm thinking a lot about how to make a kind of formation manager with this, that they swap, turn around without having to walk around through each other and stuff. I've been looking at a lot of CQB videos for this. Yeah, I know several people who have a massive, not going to say that on the stream, nerd expletive over that. So that is adaptive aim. So now I want to show you static aim. So static aim is just really simple. Look at one point while walking somewhere else. So I'm going to hold in shift and right click, and I'm going to say, hey, look there. I'm going to do shift left click, and now he's going to keep looking there. That is it. Really, really simple. If I left click again, he's going to go to aim forward, shift right click, adaptive aim, static aim, as I call it. So why is this handy? Well, you know, and that's the thing I'm going to show right now. Let's go here, because this isn't the problem. This is the problem that I want to solve later. So I could do static aim here, but this is stupid. Look, he's now looking at the side of this container. That just totally isn't working, right? That isn't the way it should be. If you were playing a shooter game, what would happen is, you know, you would walk to this corner, and as you got near it, then you'd be doing this static aim thing, right, where you'd like be looking at it basically. So what I want to do is this. Let's do it like this now. I want to say when you've got a static aim like this, let's move him back a little bit. I'll do my best to explain it. So you see this ray being cast from the gun to the point there. Right, so what I want to do is, I don't know if it's going to work, it should work, is this is a collider right here, this whole box, and I want to say, okay, when this ray intersects with a face of the box, so this is the face of the box, like the closest one to me, I want to see where that ray intersects, okay? And I'm going to have to do some vector math, and basically I want to say, okay, you know, if there's a collider between me, the soldier, and the point that I'm aiming at, find the edge. That edge is this vertical part here. And then I want to say, you aim at that until you have a clear field of sight to that. And then what you would get is it would be aiming here while it's walking. And then the moment it would get around there, that it would then look over here. Because like just right now, as a player, you just think, oh, I want to aim there. But then they're looking at the box. It's horrible. Like if I say, hey, I want you to aim in that general direction and move here, he should be looking at that corner as he's looking. Yes, slicing the pie, peaks advantage. The other thing that I'm working on, I've got the animation already working, not the logic, is I want to make it that when a soldier is near a corner like this, there's a certain threshold, that they peak with the top of their body. Let me just even see if I can find this. I've forgotten where I put this on the model. If I'm correct, it might be on hips. Where did I put it? Spine. There we go, spine. I hope this doesn't break anything. Okay, unpause. It's not made to look amazing, what you're going to see right now. Okay, so he doesn't like it when this is off at the start. That needs to be on. All right. I think the reason I've got that off is because basically it messes up. Okay, where can I find this now? 1 minute. Let's go to prefabs, units, soldier unit AI 3. Spine. Let's turn this on. This might not work now because it's something I coded a long time ago. Yep, totally, Hexarita. Problem is that's a bit too hardcore and nitty gritty to do in a game where you're controlling multiple people at a time. Ah, okay. Hold on, I could have sworn I just turned that on in here. Yeah, it's on. Do I have a script to say disable or something? That is weird. Soldier AI unit 3. Okay. Let's try that again. I don't know why that's going off now. That's very, very strange. Let's just do a quick search. Have I got somewhere in my scripts that I'm disabling this? Bullet class lean body mono behavior, lean amount. Ah, maybe it's because it's in late update. Though that would normally seem to have to be the case with the animator component. Maybe I've got to get the existing stuff and then add that to it. I'm going to be careful. I'm going to undo that and put it back because doing this stuff last minute is like playing with fire. Just want to see if we can get it working just to show it for a moment. All right, no idea what's going on there. The only other thing I can think of... Actually, I'm not sure what it is, so I'm just going to leave it for now. God knows what I did when I coded this. I got it working. I was pretty sure of that. Anyway, the idea is they go next to a corner, they can lean around left or right. And that also needs some kind of logic in there. So there's a lot of things to build and do, but there's this real sweet spot between controlling what, 2, 3, 4 guys comfortably. And it's like, it's really this trade-off. Like, it didn't work in playtesting where you're having to tell them to do everything. I mean, it's a real-time strategy squad game, right? So if you look at a game like StarCraft or Command and Conquer, units have what I call a 360-degree field of view. They just know if something's behind them and start shooting them, basically. And in this game, that isn't the case. You know, if a unit is not inside of a field's field of view and they come up behind you, they're going to get the first shot on you. And you might be looking to survive and turn around and get some shots back. But you know, that's the reward for flanking people and playing smart, which is the way it should be. I don't want this game to be like Halo, that you can absorb 5,000 bullet shots and you're good to go. Where was I going with this? That was it. So the question is, it's like, I did it in playtesting where I had to like lean the soldier. That's great if you're controlling one of them. So it's real, this sweet spot between how much do you control and how much do you not control, you know? So like right now I've got it on like run, walk, crouch, go prone. I as a player would like the guy to, hey, N3 Chi, thank you for following. Awesome, nice to get an extra follower. Hopefully you're not a bot. So basically it's like, I want the player to be busy with the big picture. What is the facing of my units? Are they moving quickly? Are they moving slowly? Because later on they're going to be making sound, and sound gives away your position, your general direction, even if the units cannot see you. Because that's also something that happens in first-person shooter games, right? You hear through your headphones that there's somebody to my left. I don't know where they are, but I know there's somebody in that direction. So yeah, you know, that's the thing. So I want them to lean a bit automatically. I want you to just say like static aim and put them in that direction, and there's a container in between, and they will look at the corner of the container, not at the wall, and then miss the container. These are things to me that just feel very normal and expected, and I don't think it's like giving up the control of what the players should be doing, because I don't want too much micromanaging. I want players to have fun while playing the game. Not going, oh God, why do I have to remember 1,000 key presses between each soldier? I want them to just have this real nice zoomed out picture. But like, I want the controls to have a level of complexity where you can pick it up and play it straight off the bat with like just 2 to 3 buttons and a mouse. But I also want it where it gets more complicated if you want it to be. So that was something that I was forgetting to show. Quick thing from Hexarita: different engagement aggro behavior levels you can set. That way you can lead the squad as you see fit and tailor their interactions without too much micro. It's a good point. It's actually already coded into the AI. So the AI has very standard personalities right now: aggressive, cautious, stealthy. And that is used right now when they're in combat. So if they're aggressive, they will push forward or flank left and right when they're in a one-on-one engagement. Or when they're on 2 versus 1, they'll still stick it out. When they're on cautious, they will only go sideways and maybe a little bit forward, but more to the back. But it's leans more towards the sides, flanking, taking cover on the left and right. Cautious is literally, I get into a firefight, I back off while flanking continuously, which will force other players to come towards them if they want to attack them. The reason I wouldn't set that for the player-controlled squad is because you're controlling them, right? That's it. You should maybe have control over, I want to set auto run on. What would auto run be? One of your units get a shot, and it doesn't have a line of sight to the attacking unit. That you, as the player, without doing anything, just see your guy run off to the closest cover. That is something I would like. You could say, yeah, but then you're giving up control. Yeah, but I know that's better, that it has a chance of surviving and getting to cover and giving me a few seconds to take control again, then it just stands there dumb and turns around and gets shot. So these are all the things that will emerge, I think, from playtesting. So yeah, the last thing I want to show before I end the stream is this is stuff I've just been really working very hard on getting it to work. Now, the visual debuggers you're going to see now are broken. I don't care. It's a game in development. So let's go into aim mode. So as you know, static aim, you can do this. But what you can also do is you can hold in shift and walk to multiple points, and it'll keep looking at it, right? And you can press control shift and reset all those points, but you still keep aiming at this point. It takes some practice, but the moment you do it, you've got it very quickly underneath your fingertips, basically. So what you can also do is you can add a waypoint and an aim waypoint. So I'll show you. So let's go over here. Sorry, just got to get it a bit set up with the camera. So let's say I want to walk across here and aim that way and aim that way. So what I do is shift left click, shift right click, shift left click, shift right click, shift left click, shift right click. And as you can see, it's now getting aim waypoints as it's walking, basically. And this is really, really cool. It plays and feels very good. The main problem right now is it gets very difficult to do this with a squad all at the same time. So I'm thinking of setting, like, I think in the old Rainbow Six, the Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta like commands. So what happens is you give your guys like a bunch of orders, and then you press a button and they'll all go simultaneously because it's a squad-based game, right? And it shouldn't be that you're giving instructions to Unit 1 and it's off doing everything, and you've got to compensate for that in your head with delaying it to like control Unit 2 and 3. That just isn't going to work. Yeah, that's what I just said, the Hexarita, the old Rainbow Six games where you could like set them up at doors and entry points and then say Alpha and they'd all go and do it. The old ones where you didn't even control the squad. So the thing that you don't see right now is, let's do this. So shift left click, shift right click, shift left click, shift right click, shift left click, shift right click. So you see it's doing this now. So what I would want to do is that you see, like, I don't know, like a red part of a path to show it's that part, and an aiming waypoint, which is like red, and then the part that's blue, and an aim waypoint that's blue, that you actually see multiple lines. It could get messy, I don't know. I want to build it because it's fun, and because it's just like right now as the player, when I do this multiple aim waypoint stuff like this, watch, I have no idea what it's going to do after I've forgotten it. It's like there's no visual feedback that it's going to walk and then aim and turn to these different areas. So that's another thing that I would like to put in there. So those are some of the things that I'm now going to be getting into and doing my best to work on with the game. Yeah, so okay, blah. I mean, I love talking about this stuff. It's really, really fun. And it's exciting to share this stuff and where it's going. I'm really happy with how it went the last day or two of getting the looting mechanics going. It's all getting, all the pieces are now fitting there. And to me, it's been a real big breakthrough that the AI can now pick a route loot across the map and then loot things that are there outside of a few bugs. Bugs are part of the process, and there are also features, sometimes like the accidental one that I found. So, it's all getting there. And once I've got this stuff done, then we get to the real hard part, getting back to the AI in combat. It sometimes has times where it works fabulously, and there's times where I'm just looking at it and going, why are you doing that? So hopefully in 2 or 3 streams we'll see. Then I'll be getting into the combat part. And the thing is, it's all going to need a rework because the entire level that I tested it all on was very small on CQB, and the level's now becoming bigger and more open, and my code has probably been overfitting like to work perfectly in that environment, and that's fine. It's got to work and start somewhere. So yeah, and Hexaritter, if you don't see it and you do want to see it, every single episode that I record on Twitch, I always upload to my YouTube channel. On the Twitch channel, there's a link to that YouTube channel. So if you've missed the broadcast and you're interested in watching it, you can put the speed on like 1.25 or 1.5, so you can do it in like half of the time and listen to me with a chipmunk voice, and then it'll all be good. So that's it for tonight's stream. Thanks to everybody that tuned in and has been following. So, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, and all you lovely human beings, I hope you have a good weekend. Stay safe. Not too sure when the next stream is. Probably Monday. Not tomorrow. I have plans. Probably Monday, because I've got some time and I'd just love to work on it and keep making progress. So, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the follows, and hope to see you in the near future. All right. Have a good one. Ciao.